Versus everybody, what's happening, y'all? Game day, we are back. It seems like it's been a while since we've played a Premier League game. Um, the Jan 3rd match against City seems strangely far away, but we are back. Away to Brighton, current lineup is out. Confirmed lineup is out. Allison in goal, Trent Alexander-Arnold, right back, Van Dijk and Fabinho, as we all probably would have assumed. Center halves, Robertson. In the midfield, we got Genie and Hendo sitting, I'm assuming, for the 4-2. And then the 3-1 will be Shaqiri, Firmino, Mane, Salah up front. I would have wanted to see Nab in this game. Um, there's you can see the reasons why, but you also can see the reasons why he should have been, and I'm on the side of him that he should have been. There's been a lot of talk about Naby, a lot of negative talk. It's beyond hilarious to me that people are all of a sudden doubting Naby Keita and going as far as even saying maybe he was a waste of money, feeding into the banter or childlike reactionary tweets and other social media jabs from rival fans about him not being worth the money and things of that nature. Listen, Naby Keita is worth the money and more uh, for a plethora of reasons. I'm assuming that he hasn't necessarily hit the heights that I'm sure he would have wanted to. We would have liked him to. This foolishness about the number 8 jersey being too heavy for him and that being some sort of curse is ridiculous as well. What I do think is a player like that, you need to continue to play him in hopes that he plays into form. And only the best players that will happen to. The more he's on the bench and coming into these kind of, I want to say nothing games, but he played an FA Cup game. You kind of thought he was going to play there, right? That was just a given. He kind of seems to be one of these guys that are kind of on the fringes. And listen, you got to trust Klopp at the end of the day. I've said it all along, but I personally would have liked to see Keita. Am I happy with the midfield we have? Sure. I think the midfield we have is good enough. Henderson's got some extra rest. Genie's gotten some extra rest. Shaqiri didn't look great in the FA Cup game, but I think this is a game where he can really, really shine and get back to what we've seen of him most of the season. Then the front three is a front three. We know that. There's people who are concerned about Fabinho at center back. I don't see a need to be concerned. Most DMs, most good DMs, can slot into a center back position quite easily. What we saw of Fabinho against Wolves, I thought was good. Probably a bit better than good. I think him and the young kid Kijana were probably the highlights of the team. Which is, I mean, there wasn't too many highlights, but I think those were the two guys, in my opinion, that stood out. So happy with Fabinho. I'm glad to see him on the pitch one way or another. I much prefer him to see him at DM. But I think he has the tools to do well at the center back position as long as we need him to do so. I think playing as the Van Dijk, you'll probably see him even step up a bit more in the defense, as well as he did with the 16-year-old in midweek. So, or Monday, yeah, Monday. So excited about it. Look, Brighton's a good team. They're a good team, and I think Chris Hughton is kind of in that kind of lower tier of managers when you think of maybe Eddie Howe, Nunu from Wolves. These are the guys that really are doing a lot with not as much as some of the better teams, the bigger teams, if you will, quote unquote, in the Premier League. And so he deserves his credit. They're coming off a pretty nice streak of results. Beat Bournemouth 3-1 in the FA Cup, which I think is a really good test for them in a competition like that. So to be able to beat Bournemouth that way, I thought was pretty good. They don't really score that many goals, so that was also very much so a highlight. Bournemouth isn't really known for a defensive side, but they are a side that are in and around that same level of Brighton. So that's a good victory for them. I believe they drew with West Ham, drew with Arsenal, beat Everton. So they're coming across some really decent results, and I think again Chris Hughton deserves lots of praise for that, and he'll have his team ready today. Listen, they might feel like they're going up against a wounded animal, maybe mentally, physically, um, maybe pride. I don't know. Maybe they think this is a chance we can really get at Liverpool, especially with Fabinho being there. It's up to Liverpool to show that perhaps that was our blip. The City match, which is harsh to even call it a blip because I thought that was a really good game. Game of fine margins. We all know what happened. FA Cup, you kind of feel like that was a throwaway game anyway, and I mean that based on how we set up, which I'm not going to get into. People have their opinions of why we did that, if it was right for us to do that. At the end of the day, we win the league, and no one's really talking about that. So, happy, excited about the game, excited about the lineup, and the bench is decent as well. So, looking for us to really, really, really get control of this game very, very early, away from home. Any kind of support they have today, hopefully we can get out early and quiet that up within the first 10, 15 minutes, get the goals, and then keep that and control the game. It's really, really nice to see that Mignolet is not our keeper, and probably won't play for the rest of the season. Knock on wood, Allison doesn't have any suspensions or injuries. But yeah, I mean, it's just really good to see us back in the Premier League, and playing again in a game that, I'm not going to even talk about pressure because, Jose Moreno gave a really, really one of my favorite interviews he's given, and someone asked him about pressure, and he rightfully responded with something to the effect of, pressure is all around us in the world. There's people dealing with all types of things in the world that are real pressure issues and real pressure situations. A football player, a manager, don't deal anywhere near of as much pressure as that. So it's not even about pressure. I think every game was going to be big this season. When the season started, from West Ham to now, every game is big. Every game is important, mainly because what the other team has done last season, what they're doing now. I think the ball is still in our court. Would it have been better to be 7 points, 10 points? Yes, but we're 4 points clear, and I think that's a really, really good cushion. 6 points at the top of I think Spurs. I might have that math wrong, but anyway, we're in a good way. We're in a good way. I'm still incredibly confident, incredibly optimistic of what this team is going to do this season, and it starts back today. It starts back today. So my score prediction is 3-0. I want to see us go back to a clean sheet after conceding 2 goals in the last Premier League match. Something we haven't done this season that I can remember. We've been scored on first. We've had to come back, but I don't think we haven't conceded 2 goals in one game. So back to clean sheet. Brighton do really well at home, and they score in every game at home. So the stats show that they probably are in line to get a goal, the XG or whatever it's called, in this game. But look for Liverpool to really, really be strong, really, really be hungry, really be angry. Honestly, that's what I really want to see, especially after that last game where I thought we were pretty much brutalized in the game Thursday and Jan 3rd. So I want to see guys really, really physical, getting stuck in, being strong, being confident, being short of their football and enjoying their football, and just getting back to winning ways again. We're playing before all the big teams this week. If you're not including Arsenal as a big team, who I think at the last time I saw they were losing 1-0 to West Ham. So